Happening now, the latest push to reopen cinemas. Plus, we preview tonight's debate between candidates for Chautauqua County District Attorney and Executive.
A live look at the radar. You can see the cold front is starting to approach the area. I'll have the full forecast details coming up. The news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Well, there's no business like show business, but it could be considered slow business in the face of COVID-19 restrictions. While movie theaters are open in one capacity or another in 48 states, under Governor Andrew Cuomo's guidance, they remain closed here in New York. The owners of Lakewood Cinema 8 have posted their desire to open up on their sign outside their business this week. Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell tells us no one is forced to attend any reopened business, and they need to determine for themselves what they want to do about attending events in public. He says a county-by-county reopening plan would be better than the regional approach that's happening right now, but Governor Andrew Cuomo has denied his requests.
It's my job to ask those questions, and I don't have a problem. I said, that phrase ad nauseum. I continue to ask the questions, whether it's about opening up gyms or movie theaters or anything. We continue. Movie theaters are being closed, or general theaters, for example, whether it's, the Reg Linn downtown or even our cinemas. I've gone to a private screening, although it wasn't intended as that, but my son and I were the only ones in the theater that night. Yeah. We don't have an abundance of people crashing, our movie theaters, and quite honestly, there are not a lot of movies being. So there will be a ripple effect.
Now, Wendell says being told no by state officials is like a child asking for his parents for something and they keep saying no. Safety includes both physical and fiscal safety as well, the executive explains. Well, Chautauqua County reports 60 new COVID-19 positive tests yesterday, including a total of 61 active cases connected to Tanglewood Manor. Among the newly reported cases are 3 here in Jamestown, 3 in Asheville, 2 in Falconer and Frewsburg, and 1 in Dunkirk and Lakewood. There are currently 104 cases that have recovered in the county. The latest numbers show 10 Tanglewood employees and 51 residents who have tested positive. Now, to date, there have been 695 recoveries total, 13 deaths, and 812 confirmed cases of the virus. Well, the question and answer portion of Judge Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation hearing is now complete. The Senate Judiciary Committee votes today whether to send her Supreme Court nomination to the full Senate. And before November, Barrett will likely know if she'll be named the highest court's latest edition. John Lawrence has more from Washington.
Judge Amy Coney Barrett moving closer to a seat on the Supreme Court of the United States.
I would say you're one of the greatest picks President Trump could have made.
Barrett was grilled over a 2-day period on issues including health care, voting rights, and the environment.
Do you believe that climate change is happening and is threatening the air we breathe and the water we drink?
I will not express a view on a matter of public policy, especially one that is politically controversial.
You've made your point clear that you believe it's a debatable point.
If Barrett is confirmed, she will succeed the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and give the High Court a 6-3 conservative majority.
We've seen that our Democratic colleagues have very few questions actually to raise about Judge Barrett's qualifications.
Among the questions Barrett wouldn't answer included whether she would recuse herself in a possible legal battle over November's presidential election.
I certainly hope that all members of the committee have more confidence in my integrity than to think that I would allow myself to be used as a pawn to decide this election for the American people.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
John, thank you. According to 4 senators, 2 from each party, there were no red flags in her FBI background check. Well, back here at home, the National Comedy Center is celebrating I Love Lucy Day by opening a new gallery and hosting several online events. Thursday, October 15th, commemorates the anniversary of CBS's first broadcast of the comedy show in 1951. The gallery, which opened this morning in the Lucille Ball Desi Arnaz Museum, celebrates Lucy in the Movies, featuring a timeline of her 90-plus theatrical films, a video presentation produced in partnership with Turner Classic Movies, and displays of screen-used wardrobe from some of her fans' favorite films. Now, Executive Director Journey Gunderson tells us Lucy Ball's legacy is celebrated in many ways, part of that exhibit.
She became the first female head of a major Hollywood studio in 1960 when she took over Desilu Studios, the most powerful production studio of its era at the time. And the fact that she had been in 49 movies before I Love Lucy informs our perception of Lucille Ball as a woman who knew what she was doing and really revolutionized the entertainment industry and broke barriers in so many ways. And so we're excited to celebrate all of those other parts of this legacy here in Jamestown.
Now, happening tonight, there's also a free online Lucy trivia event featuring classic moments from the show and a newly enhanced Lucy Town driving tour available at comedycenter.org. Well, we thank you for joining us here for WNY News Now and hope everyone is having a great day out there. Let's check in with the comments and say hello to Al. Good to see Brian, Molly, Amy, Cindy, Lisa, Dave, Joseph, and Pam as well. Hopefully everyone is having a great one. We thank you so much for joining us here for WNY News Now. Well, now let's get a check of our first offense weather forecast. Forecaster Andrew Stevenson is in for Dakota today. Hey, Andrew, good to see you.
Only 2 more days, today and tomorrow, and then Dakota will be back next week.
Well, you're doing a great job.
You can take his spot back. I don't mind it, but he's got more experience than I do, but it's not bad. So let's take a look at the weather breakdown. We had some sunshine this morning. Those clouds are beginning to fill in. Actually, when I looked just before we started the news, the clouds were pretty much filled in because there's a cold front approach in the area that will move through this afternoon into this evening. Behind that cold front, it will be cooler tomorrow with lake effect rain showers tomorrow, but the 60s will return as we head into the second half of the weekend and into next week. So if you don't like the cooler weather, the 60s will be returning. Yesterday we reached a high of 62 degrees yesterday with a low of 40 degrees. The record 84 back in 1947. That record will stand for another year. So this afternoon the clouds have moved into the area. The cold front is approaching into this afternoon, and it's going to bring with it some rain. The temperatures started in the mid-60s, but that cold front is going to drop the temperatures into the mid-50s. So I think we reached a high for the day this morning. Winds today 15 to 25 miles per hour. It will be gusty winds at 30 to 35 miles per hour. I'll have more forecast details coming up in just a few minutes. Justin?
All right, Andrew, thank you. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is threatening to take away state funding from schools in COVID-19 hotspots that are ignoring orders to shut their doors. Cuomo made the comments during a conference call with reporters yesterday. He says the state has wide discretion to withhold funding and that the school's defiance is endangering public health. However, the governor didn't immediately say exactly how much money could be withheld or name schools that were breaking the rules here in the state. The governor recently ordered schools in designated cluster zones to switch to remote learning for at least 14 days to help stop the spread of COVID-19. The candidates for Chautauqua County District Attorney and County Executive will face off tonight during a debate here in Jamestown. Starting at 6 o'clock, Chautauqua County District Attorney Patrick Swanson and challenger Jason Schmidt will go head-to-head during a 60-minute debate at the Reggie Linnae Center for the Arts. Then, at 7 o'clock, Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell and opponent Richard Morrisroe will take the stage. Moderated by WRFA's Jason Sample, the discussion will involve questions from participating media members, including WJTN's Terry Frank and myself. There is also an opportunity for each candidate to ask one question to each other. Now, because of the pandemic, the venue's closed to the public. However, you can watch it live right here on WNY News Now's Facebook page, on our mobile app, or at WNYNewsNow.com. Well, coming up next, the Democratic candidate for New York State Assembly joins us live to talk about an event this week aimed at rallying voters before Election Day. And a little bit later on, we tell you about the newest holiday recognized here in New York State. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
As a former county executive, I know exactly the challenges and opportunities that we have here in Chautauqua County. That's why I'm very proud to support P.J. Wendell for county executive. His knowledge, his experience, and his leadership are exactly what we need at this moment in time. I would ask you all to please support P.J. Wendell for county executive.
Wendell has the experience, he's got the leadership, and he's got the knowledge and ability.
One of the most important characteristics of a successful county executive is being able to surround themselves with the right people for the right situation. And that is exactly what P.J. Wendell has done. Having direct experience in county government is absolutely critical, and no one should start out as county executive with having no experience at all with county government. So P.J. Wendell brings that experience both as a long-term legislator and a former chairman of the legislature. He has my 100% support.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
For the past 9 years, I've been a prosecutor right here in Chautauqua County, fighting to keep this community safe. My family lives here with me in Fredonia, and I grew up in Sherman, New York. Fighting to make sure that these communities stay safe is so very important to me. We have the highest caseload of any county in this state, and as your district attorney, I'm dedicated to making sure that each case gets handled the right way for not only the victims, but for the people that live in this county. I'm fully invested in this community, and I'm fully invested in this community's future. Vote Patrick Swanson for Chautauqua County District Attorney.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. An event aimed at rallying voters prior to Election Day is slated to take place tomorrow afternoon here in Jamestown. Joining us on the show to talk more about that and to follow up following last week's Assembly debate is Democratic candidate Christina Cardinelli. Ms. Cardinelli, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Hi, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
So tomorrow at 4 o'clock at Brooklyn Square, Tim Hortons, you're joining others in the community for a Get Out the Vote rally. What do you hope to achieve at that event?
Really, it's general awareness. We will have literature on all of the candidates, including myself. You are more than welcome to join us if you are rallying for a particular candidate, if you have a favorite, if you'd like to find out more information. Personally, I am attending because I would really like the opportunity to put myself in the public and speak with anyone who is interested in my campaign. I would absolutely not say that this event is entirely for Democrats only. If you are a Republican, come by. If you're an independent, if you're a libertarian, come by. We want you there. We want you to meet the candidates, and I want you to meet me, and I would love to speak with you personally and have the opportunity to really have a conversation and listen. And I live for that. That's what I like doing. So do not feel like you cannot come by if you're not a Democrat. That's absolutely not true.
And many times, no more than 50% of qualified voters actually go to the polls. In your eyes, what can be done to try to increase participation?
I would say general awareness and education is very important, and that is an endeavor that doesn't necessarily need to start around election time. That I think it kind of backfires when you're pushing to get the vote out, make sure you're registered, make sure you're educated right around election time. That should be an all the time type of event, and pushing general awareness and voter education and voter registration, it should be all the time. It should be 24/7. There should be groups dedicated to doing that.
Now, this year, there's a lot different when it comes to voting. COVID-19 has changed so much. And there's a lot of concerns, too. Are you worried that mail-in voting, which is different than absentee voting, has the potential for fraud and mishandling? And if so, is there any safeguard that we can implement against that?
I would absolutely say that I am not worried at all about Chautauqua County. I am very in communication with the Board of Elections in Chautauqua County. They do a fantastic job. They are very, very organized. And the most important thing to remember about the Chautauqua County Board of Elections, they are organized in a bipartisan manner. So you have a Democrat who's in charge, you have a Republican who's in charge. They work together. There is no one-sidedness. Everything is very equal. Everyone has an opportunity to weigh in and analyze everything. So there's really no room for any type of fraud or any type of suppression, anything like that. I can absolutely tell you that if you live in Chautauqua County, as long as you are mailing your ballot with significant time for it to arrive, just because I know the mail is a little delayed, as long as you mail it in time, I really do not believe that there will be any type of issue that voters have to worry about. And that's very important right now for anyone who needs to be safe or needs to not be in public. And we want to make that as easy as possible.
Now, in your own campaign, your debate last week with your opponent brought a lot of social media attention, and we noticed that there were some critics out there who said that you came off as being rude or arrogant. How do you respond to that?
I would, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. There have been some negative comments, but I can assure you that when you love something the way that I do, the way that I love Chautauqua County, you fight for it, and that's what I was doing. I was fighting for this county. I was fighting for the people. And I've said this since the beginning, I was fighting for transparency. I was fighting for accountability. I was fighting to assert myself in the position that I want to be the people's representative. And I care about the people and I care about this county. When you have that much passion and you are dedicated to that mission, you fight for what you love.
Is it hard to take some of that criticism? I know we've talked before where you had people early on in your campaign who really went on the attack on your social media pages. Is that a hard thing to have to deal with, or did you expect that coming into the race?
No, it's really not hard, because when you go into anything where you are a public figure, you have to assume that it's going to happen. There will always be criticism. There will always be someone who disagrees with what you're saying or your approach. But I would like to open up the conversation field of, I promise, if you sit down and you talk to me, you will realize that I care about you. Doesn't matter political affiliation, doesn't matter. We are people, we are human beings. So I absolutely take the opportunity as much as I can to really sit down with people. Tell me why you were critical. Tell me why you don't like this. I think that if we can connect as people, it'll be a little less, there'll be a less of a disconnect, because I think that I can show people that I truly do in fact care.
So at this point in the race, what do you have to say to some of our viewers who may not be thinking about voting this fall, or if they are and still feel undecided on the races? What's your message?
Absolutely. Please vote. Please vote. And whenever I speak with anyone, especially younger people, I like to reiterate the point that people have died for your right to vote. There has been so much suffering for the right to vote for women, the right to vote in general. And I absolutely need to make sure that I'm stressing that you vote this election year. Do I want you to vote for me? Yes, absolutely I do. But I want you to vote in general. I want you to educate yourself, pick the candidate that you think would best represent you, and express your right to vote, because that is a sacred right as an American. And I want everyone to be able to do that. And I want everyone to feel encouraged to do that.
All right, Assembly candidate Christina Cardinelli joining us on the show today. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate coming to us with the conversation.
For having me, and tell Dakota I said hi.
Absolutely, I will. He'll be back next week, so.
It's cute, very entertaining.
Oh yeah, he does such a good job. So, and he has a good team behind him, that's for sure. And speaking of that team, it's now time to get a check of our First Defense weather forecast. Forecaster Andrew Stevenson is here in for Dakota. You do such a good job, Andrew. And right now it seems like you're tracking a couple of rain showers out there.
Yep, the cold front is starting to approach the area, which I'll show you coming up on radar in just a couple of minutes. But first I'll take a look outside in downtown Jamestown coming up here. Once you get, there it is. In downtown Jamestown right now, the clouds are moving in right now, and we had some sunshine this morning, but the clouds continue to move in. It is 61 degrees at the noon hour with a southwest wind at 17 miles per hour. So those clouds are moving in, and the sun is gone for the day. Again, a live look at radar. There's the cold front. It's slowly edging its way towards western New York. It will be here this afternoon. So, taking a look at the cooler air that's going to come in behind this cold front. Today we're going to reach around 65 degrees, but that cold front moves through and it drops down to around 50 tomorrow. A little warmer on Saturday at 53 degrees, but we do get back into the low 60s for Sunday and Monday. And looking in the middle of next week, we might start to get back towards the middle 60s. So future scan, next 36 hours, it picks up on that cold front, inching its way through the area. This cold front moves through this afternoon, and it's going to provide rain this afternoon and into this evening with a few hours of steady rain out there. Behind the cold front, lake effect rain showers will set up for tomorrow, and mainly it's going to be across the northern Chautauqua area, but the lake effect rain showers will set up for tomorrow. Otherwise, it will be mostly cloudy out there. Have any evening plans tonight? Let's plan that even around 5 o'clock. It will be 53 degrees, and that's when the rain should start. And the rain will start through this evening, but it will drop down into the upper 40s, mid-40s as we head towards the midnight hour. So you might want to grab an umbrella if you have any plans out there, and you might want to hold on to the umbrella because it will also be a tad bit breezy. Planning the weekend looks drier out there, a little warmer on Saturday with 53 degrees, partly cloudy, a little chilly, maybe a few leftover lake effect rain showers in the morning. You take a look at Sunday, it does warm up just a tad bit, but it will be breezy with a south wind coming in the area. It will warm up, it will be breezy. So once again on Sunday, you'll have to hold on to the hat. Now here comes a 7-day forecast brought to you by 42 and Sunny. We have that afternoon rain today. It will cool off tomorrow into around 50. It will clear out Saturday into Sunday, and like I said earlier, heading into next week, we will warm up just a bit into the low mid 60s. As of now, we might have a chance of rain each day, Monday through Wednesday. Justin?
All right, Andrew, thank you. Coming up next, why those plexiglass shields that we see around the community might not protect us as well as we think. That and more as WNY News Now continues.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
First Defense Weather is sponsored by 42 Degrees and Sunny, smokin' deals on smoking accessories. Learn more at 42degreesandsunny.com. That's 42degreesandsunny.com.
Hi, I'm George Borrello, and I'm proud to serve as your senator for New York's 57th Senate District. In fact, in my first year, I've passed many pieces of legislation as well as helping people and businesses in these challenging times. From fighting for a safe, common-sense reopening of our state's economy during the COVID-19 pandemic, to continuing the push for the repeal of the state's flawed criminal justice changes, which have made us all less safe, I am working hard for you every day as your state senator. Your vote will help me continue my mission to boost New York's economy, struggling from the COVID shutdown, and for small businesses not just to survive, but thrive. I will also continue to hold the government accountable by reviewing policies that led to the tragic nursing home deaths statewide. I'm proud to represent our beautifully diverse region, and I will be honored to have your vote on Tuesday, November 3rd, so that I can continue my work fighting for you. It's not about rhetoric, it's about results.
Paid for by Borrello for Senate.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Juneteenth is now an official holiday here in New York State. Governor Andrew Cuomo made it a holiday by executive order earlier this year and now made the act permanent after signing legislation on Wednesday. Juneteenth commemorates June 19th, 1865, the day slaves in Texas first learned they had been freed years earlier by President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. It also celebrates achievements in the black community. The new holiday marks 13 paid holidays for state employees. Well, you've probably seen those plexiglass barriers at checkout counters and grocery stores in the community, and many workplaces are also adding them in, all as an extra layer to protect us against coronavirus. But are these shields effective in really protecting us? Meredith Wood spoke with experts to find out.
Early in the pandemic, when businesses started to reopen, many installed plexiglass barriers in order to reduce the exposure to hazards like COVID-19. But it turns out those physical barriers may not be as effective as we hoped.
While very seductive and convenient, they offer a false sense of security. Of course, there are practical concerns in terms of the positioning of the plexiglass partition, how high it is, how wide it is, how often it's cleaned.
Dr. Wafa Al-Sadr, a professor of epidemiology at Columbia University, says that's the same issue with plastic face shields. She says though they are more convenient and easier to wear, they are not a replacement for physical distancing and face masks.
We know that, of course, the virus itself can be in much smaller particles and can go around the plexiglass.
Also, plexiglass hasn't been scientifically proven to shield the aerosol droplets that spread from sneezing, coughing, and talking. But no need to throw those plastic barriers away. Instead, they are best used in addition to face coverings and physical distancing of at least 6 feet. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
Meredith, thank you. And those rules there mentioned, in addition to plexiglass, most businesses use face coverings when indoors and are asking customers to stay 6 feet apart. Well, if you find yourself snacking more during the pandemic, you're apparently not the only one. Yesterday, CVS Pharmacy released the results of a survey the Harris poll conducted for them back in July, and it found that 2/3 of American adults are snacking more while at home. But over half of them are choosing healthier snacks and meals more often than they did before the pandemic. CVS says it is offering more choices when it comes to those healthy foods. The company announced it's expanding its Gold Emblem line of pre-made meals, adding a dozen new selections to its stores nationwide. Certainly I can attest to snacking during the pandemic, maybe something we've all done. Let us know what you think about in the comments down below. Well, let's get a final check of our First Defense weather forecast. Forecaster Andrew Stevenson is in the new First Defense Weather Center. And Andrew, finally, after a couple of months, we were joking about this yesterday, they finally got the logo on the TV behind you.
Yeah, I like the logo. Now we just need to put the radar up there at all times, so we have a 24-hour thing.
Well, you have it over your other shoulder there, so I've never seen so many monitors in my life.
Do we have room for any more?
I don't know. Besides the control room, I think the weather office probably has the best amount of slate of monitors. So
there's also more room now to move around because me and Dakota and the other one were kind of cramped in there, and more room to move around now.
Certainly more breathing room is always a good thing. And this weekend, I hear that we might be getting a little more warmth back. Is that right?
A little bit headed into the second half of the week. In the first Saturday, low 50s. Sunday, a little bit warmer and breezy because we'll start to get a south wind coming in that usually warms it up and also gives a slight breeze out there. So weekend looks pretty good out there. Maybe a lake effect rain shower early Saturday morning, but so far so good for the upcoming weekend.
All right, certainly. Fingers crossed it stays that way. Andrew, thank you. We remind you, join us tonight at 6 o'clock for the Chautauqua County District Attorney debate. And then immediately following that at 7, the executive debate right here on WNY News Now. We'll leave you with a live look over Chautauqua Lake. Have a great day.